Good morning and welcome to Beyond Headlines on Freedom Square TV. We are reaching you from Enugu, Coal City State. That is Nigeria. This morning we want to explore the very challenging statement that was made by His Excellency, the former governor of Anambra State, Ph.D, when he promised that if elected in 2027, that he will serve for only a tenure, which is 4 years. Let me provide a background before we go into the discussion. Nigeria's political discourse has been steered once again by a bold declaration from the former governor of Anambra State and Labour Party presidential candidate, Ph.D. During an interaction, Obi pledged that if elected, he will serve only for one term of 4 years. To many of his supporters, this statement is a refreshing deviation from the typical Nigerian politician who clings to power or eyes an automatic ticket even before the first tenure ends. They argue it is a reflection of Obi's confidence in his ability to deliver results swiftly and a sincere commitment to selfless service. But to others, especially Obi's critics and opponents, it reeks of political desperation, a strategy to gain favor with skeptical voters or to pacify power blocks. However, Anambra State Governor Professor Uchenna had earlier cast doubts on claims of one-term presidency by Obi. Soludo dismissed the one-term pledge, saying that any politician making such a promise should be sent for psychiatric evaluation. How can anybody with a functioning brain say that? Do you think you are speaking to fools? You come to people and you say you will do one term. Any politician who says that must be sent to a psychiatric home because the person must have some mental problems, Soludo concluded in a political rally in Anambra South. The governor argued the Nigerian Constitution provides for a renewable 4-year tenure and questioned the wisdom of any politician voluntarily limiting himself to a single term. In his classic response, Ph.D, in a statement on X, invoked the legacies of revered leaders such as Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, and even Mandela to justify his position that impactful leadership is not measured by longevity in office. Indeed, history shows that the longer many African leaders remain in power, the more likely they are to be corrupted by it. Longevity in office is not a mark of success. Rather, it is a purposeful, accountable service, however brief, that defines true. I can even on my own add Jim Mobodo, who was governor for 4 years.
Okay.
In old Anambra State.
God bless you.
Jim, the lot of things that we are now experiencing and enjoying in Enugu was especially by Jim Mobodo. Under 4 years. Although Obi claimed his one-term promise was poured out of genuine concern, he did not betray emotion by the skepticism that has since triggered his declaration. He, however, assured Nigerians that the negative reviews he had been getting wouldn't deter him. The director of publicity of the APC, Bala Ibrahim, described Obi as a man playing to the gallery, saying his words lacked sincerity. This promise, if taken seriously, raises critical questions. Can meaningful change truly be delivered in just 4 years? Would this encourage accountability or reduce political will? Is Nigeria ready for a one-term presidency? As the 2027 elections draw closer, and with shifting alliances and voter expectations, we ask the question, is Ph.D.'s one-term promise a mark of sincerity or a calculated move born out of political necessity? I'm being joined this morning by a very tested old politician who is now a community leader, Chief Matthias Omeh. Ph.D. He was the one-time commissioner of agriculture in Enugu State, the old Enugu State. And of course, he's the chairman of community banks in Nsukka. Is that correct?
Nsukka
Microfinance Banks. Omeh, good morning and welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Yes, you listened to the background conversation I just had.
I did.
The big question is, when P2B said he would only serve one term if elected, what message or messages do you think he was trying to send to the public?
Thank you very much. I don't know why people argue about certain things. The constitution of the country, which I'm not a lawyer, but agitated by the criticisms flying in here and there, I went and searched the constitution. And in chapter 6 of Nigerian Constitution, part 1, I think section 135, made it clear that the tenure of the President of the Republic of Nigeria and the governors is 4 years and renewable. Therefore, I don't know whether Professor Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, will want to go and get all the people who made input into that constitution to go to psychiatric hospital for them to be checked. The tenure is 4 years and renewable. And somebody says, I will stay 4 years. And somebody said, it's crazy. Ironically, there are 2 other aspirants, if I may put it that way, in the opposition who have said the same thing. The former vice president of the country, Atiku Abubakar, said it. The former governor of Rivers State and the former minister also repeated the same thing.
That was Rotimi
Amechi. One would wonder, why is P2B so making waves? Well,
why do you think he's making waves then?
I think he's making waves because they know Peter is a man of his words. And they are afraid Nigerians will believe him, especially in the northern part of the country, who people are accusing that they want to interfere with the peaceful oscillation of a presidential seat in the country. It oscillates between the north and the south. The last president, late President Buhari, stayed for 80 years, starting from Obasanjo, 80 years. The nature interfered with Yar'Adua's own, and he stayed about 2.5 years before he died, and Jonathan took over. Then Buhari came in, stayed 80 years from the north. So, with all intents and purposes, it is assumed and believed, because of the stability that oscillation has brought in the country, that the South will also stay 80 years. So the North is to be convinced that that whoever becomes the president will go out by 2031. Be the incumbent president or any other person coming in. And if this is followed, already disqualifying some people. So we don't even know from where that argument is coming. Whether it is still coming from people who think that if the North accepts that, they will be affected. So Peter is trusted. And they say that if he says yes, it means yes. And we know that sincerity is all about trust. all about consistency, all about body language, and all that. So why Peter's own makes waves is that they know that Nigerians will believe him. And in Nigeria, if Nigerians believe him, especially the North, they know the implication.
Okay, Nigerians will believe him, and if they do, the implication is quite obvious. That is to Matthias Omeh. That's your words, those are not mine. Those who are skeptical about this promise point to one thing, and I just want you to take it in your stride to attempt to look at it. When Ikemba was still alive, and Peter, in a viral video that nobody had disputed, made a pledge before Ikemba Newi. He said, any day I leave Apga, I'll stop playing politics. The critics said, look, he didn't really leave Apga. He left Apga for PDP. He left PDP for Labour. And he's almost leaving Labour. He's dancing with ADC. Now, that is difficult. If a promise you made to Ikemba can be broken, that this can also be broken. And so they cast a big doubt. What are your thoughts?
That is not necessary. If you look at Obi'S entry into politics, he said it was in one of the development courses he went in America, and he quoted one Professor Kellogg. They were discussing world development and economics. And he said for 1 week, that Professor Kellogg did not mention Africa. So he challenged him. And the professor said that African economy does not impact the world. That no manufacturer takes Africa into consideration in designing the products. We use car industries in the world. He said there is American spec, there is European spec, there is Asian spec. There is no African spec because we don't contribute to the economy. With what he learned from that course, he said he got annoyed, came down to Lagos, packed his things, and came down to Anambra to contest for governorship. So ab initio, Peter was not a politician. And I don't even think he's cut for politics Nigerian style. So, I'm sure he may have made that statement without appreciating the political dynamics in Nigeria. Maybe he was comparing Nigerian political parties as what you have in America, what you have in the European world, where party is based and controlled by the ideology of the party. So he came in as a neophyte in politics and made that statement. When he came in, he saw what it means to be in politics in Nigeria. And he couldn't have achieved what he dreamt of after that lecture, that course in America. He wouldn't have achieved it in Apoga. Being a regional party, not even supported by the region. Because I was thinking that with Apoga, all politicians in Southeast would have queued behind Ojukwu. And when Ojukwu ran for the presidency, he would have had overwhelming votes like P.W. had when he ran. So I think we made that statement out of
as a Nigerian politician.
Not as a Nigerian politician.
As a Nigerian politician.
And his experience in PDP when he came in, he needed to read it. This is somebody who wanted to contest for governorship. And when he goes to PDP meeting, he won't even be given the opportunity to talk.
There are too many big wigs.
So that's the thing. So that is, I'm sure that's why he made that statement.
Okay, let's refocus. But this analysis you've made and the Peter you know, and the typical Nigerian political climate, do you see this as a sincere vow to serve and live? Or is this a desperate attempt to appear different and win sympathy?
I may disappoint listeners and viewers when I will say yes, it is both sincere and desperate.
Desperate moment, quite desperate measures.
Yes. Because let me begin with sincerity. I think Peter is sincere. If you look at the consistency, if you see the emotion attached to that statement, if you see his body language, I mentioned it earlier, sincerity is all about trust. And Peter can be trusted based on what people have seen. Somebody continues to make reference in this internet age. He says, I did this, go and verify. I did this, go and verify. I promised this, and I did it, go and verify. Not everybody can make that statement these days, this internet age. If you allow me to read a letter,
why not?
What people have said about Peter.
If it serves our purpose.
It serves our purpose.
Okay.
Because people who said it are people of repute. Goodluck Jonathan said, P2B is a good man. As a presidential candidate, your utterances have not been divisive. And nobody has attributed or said anything negative about you from former president of this country. From renowned Okonjo-Iweala, I am proud of my brother, Governor P2B. I entitled my talk on him. He came, he saw, he conquered. His governance of Anambra State was full of experiences worth sharing and indeed worth capturing in a book, if not books. It's evident that he really conquered. He deals a lot with His Excellency's approach to governance over the years. Okonjo-Iweala, World Trade Organization DG. The most exciting one is by Ayo Adebanjo of Afenifere.
Okay.
P2B is the person of Igbo extraction that Afenifere has decided to support and back. He is the man we can trust. He's the man we can trust. If we are sincere about keeping Nigeria in peace, the slogan should be to make Nigeria one. Everybody should be obedient. Again, by Yusuf Dadi, his vice, running mate, P2B is 100% clean. They have tried and couldn't find anything on him. What a man God has blessed us with. But the highest is from Obi'S of Onitsha, who Peter is living in his domain. So he is so close to Peter and knows everything about Peter. And he said, Mr. P2B is a man who stands for the truth at all costs, a lone voice in the unstable world, speaking the truth and pursuing excellence, a man with strength of character, passion for the betterment of the nation, is committed to doing what is right. I don't think Peter can afford to disappoint all these people. And it is crowned by championship award of 2006, the most trustworthy governor in Nigeria at that time. This is what I think is sincere. Then desperate, yes, desperation. We all know that desperation has two dimensions, sometimes even three. Some positive, some negative. If I may start with the negative one, do or die.
Yeah.
I must have it. Born out of hopelessness and maybe frustration, but very limited. Unfortunately, the world associates desperation with that. But there are positive desperation, born out of commitment to by motivation, motivated to achieve. Yes, Peter is desperate to better Nigeria. He's desperate to change the course of Nigeria because he believes that change is possible. So he's desperate and thinks he can do it. Thinks with all, however, with the equipment, with his making, with the knowledge acquired, he can make it. And he's desperate to see Nigeria change. He's desperate to see the poor man, the poor drive out of poverty. He's desperate to make the rich realize that richness, if one man is rich in a town, that town is poor. Desperation also has some spiritual aspect, like the people we saw in the Bible, the blind man who was shouting, and they were telling him, "Shut up, shut up." He was shouting, "Jesus, son of David," and he achieved what he was. It's not that alone. A paraplegic was dropped from the roof.
Yeah.
A sign of desperation, and achieved what they wanted. Even the widow who continued to knock and disturb the man who never listened to God nor respected human beings. So, but we tend to ignore that aspect and use desperation only for negative aspect. So Peter is desperate positively to see a change in this country and has shown that it is possible.
Yes, it is possible. Peter, according to you, sincerely wants to do a 4-year tenure. The question many people are asking, supposing without considering,
Okay?
that after 4 years, Peter Obi is begged to run for a second term, what do you think will happen? By popular demand.
That popular demand
By popular demand.
Nigerians political slogan. My people said,
Yes.
My people want me to do this. My people want me to do that. No. But with body language, you will know. So, Peter has always said it, that he will not solve Nigerian problem overnight and nobody can solve it. The major thing is laying the foundation. Remember when Buhari came in? The first 3 months Buhari came in, all contractors went back to the site, whether you are paid or not, because they remembered what happened when he was a soldier head of state. 83. Remembered with Diabo. So that is exactly why I changed party to APC. Yes, because I said, if Buhari is the candidate, and if we do even half of what he did, because that time I was my last year in university, 1983, and we were all in Y Brigade.
Y Brigade. I was also a member of Y Brigade.
So, if Buhari had continued with that body language, I don't think we would have gotten ourselves where we got ourselves doing.
And after 8 years, you were disappointed.
I was disappointed even before 8 years. I was disappointed.
Okay.
So if Peter lays good foundation, and that good foundation rubs off on all his appointees, he can do a lot with him for years. I'm sorry to say it, in the last 2 years, though it is easier to destroy than to build, haven't we seen what 2 years of an administration has brought to us? So, 4 years, how many years were the soldiers staying? How many years? Apart from Babangida and maybe Abacha, who stayed 5 years. Oh, that's why I shot then Gowon was during the war. But if you come to the States, no governor stayed more than 1 year or 2 years. And look at the achievement. So the time really doesn't mean much. Are you programmed? Do you know what you are coming to do? Will you choose the right people to do it with you? Will you do it by example? You say we won't do this, you won't do it. Will it take 4 years for him to change the cost of government in Nigeria? Will it take him 4 years, more than 4 years, to change the face of expenditure of government? And all that, and all that. It won't take him up to 4 years to say nobody should import cars that Innocent can produce. Especially if you start using it, even as a president. So these things don't take time. But people think that you must stay 80 years. This entitlement mentality, we have to come out from it. It's 4 years that the Constitution says, if you make it, and if people like you, like what you are doing, they return you. But because people can think they can come back, whether they are voted for or not, they think it is automatic.
Yes, that's been a sing song in Nigeria. People spend 2 years and they begin to campaign for another 6 years. I tend to share an optimism we raised that it's possible. But given the Nigerian condition, because there's a Nigerian condition, and that's something you would never ignore. That's why people make promises in Nigeria, and the Nigerian condition will make them change that promise they've made. There's a Nigerian condition, there's a Nigerian climate, there's a Nigerian environment that will force you to even do something against your will. Well, one Igbo man made a viral video. I'm not sure you've seen it. It says, Peter Obi, if you're going to spend 4 years, don't even start. He said all other regions in Nigeria, but he said, in fact, is that the condition they gave you to run 4 years? So they will say the Igbo man has been there for 4 years. When the Yoruba man has been there, Obasanjo was there for 8 years. Buhari was there for 8 years. Combined Jonathan's experience was about 6 years. And you already, before you start, you say it's 4 years. Not possible. The Igbo will not allow you. So not a comma that you say you are not running at all. And to begin to talk that you want to stay there for 4 years. We'll start on that and we'll go on a short break. When we come back, Chief, we'll be looking at other issues. How does this thing sit with the youth? Okay? How do voters see this? And of course, should we hold Nigerian politicians to account? Must we always trust them? Okay? So, we'll be back shortly.
This is Freedom Square TV.
This is Freedom Square TV.
This is Freedom Square TV.
Freedom Square TV is your gateway to powerful business exposure and advertisement. Yes, you heard me right. I said it's your gateway to powerful business exposure and advertisement. We deliver their message to the right audience through professional media coverage, creative business promotion, and targeted advertising solution. Partner with us to grow your brand, boost and increase your visibility.
Freedom Square TV delivers accurate, timely news covering politics, business, and society, keeping viewers entertained, informed, and empowered every day. Keep watching Freedom Square TV.
Freedom Square TV, where script comes to life.
You are still watching Beyond the Headlines, reaching you from Enugu of Freedom Square TV. We're still discussing the one-term presidency of Peter Obi, and we're asking the question, is it born out of sincerity or out of desperation? And my guest is still Chief Matthias Omeh, Ph.D., a former commissioner for agriculture in Enugu State, chairman governing council, Federal Polytechnic, Bauchi, and of course, he's the chairman of Nsukka Microfinance banks. One-term promise. How do you think a Nigerian voter, an average Nigerian voter, will view this, knowing where we come from?
Thank you very much. Let me go back a little to our patriotic Igbo friend, who is already warning that We shouldn't even try go at all.
Okay, yes. The man who has been viral, who has gone viral.
We don't blame the man.
Yeah,
Don't blame
the man said no, that he will be shortchanging the Igbos.
The Igbo man has been
that will be begging for this, and then we say we want to do it for 4 years.
The Igbo man has been so depraved with this defeatist mentality. But to some of us, to some people, majority of the elite, Peter is also on a mission to break the jinx. There is this belief, unfortunately by other Nigerians, that I don't know whether it is fear, envy, or just outright hatred, which I don't want to buy, that the Igbo man should not take that as a rock. So we don't mind whether it is 4 years or whatever, provided that yoke is broken. Let's find ourselves there. Kasuke Igbo, and that's a rock. You know what's happening there? So I appeal to everybody. Accept what he has said. And Peter is a disciplined man. He doesn't want to sell the apple cart. 80 years here, 80 years here, 80 years here, 80 years here. So if he completes the 4 years of the South, he can go. And that will be enough for him to prove a point that the Igbo man can do it. And do it very, very good. I mean, very, very well. There's an appeal. Coming back to the voters, what influences or what influence voters in Nigeria? What factor? Is it a factor of performance? Is it a factor of promise? Is it a factor of ethnicity, religion, or what? Or a combination of all of them? We discover that the voter is an innocent person, the average voter. Not those people who will be speaking trench English every time. On the voting day, just tune his CNN or Al Jazeera, and people will be going to voting. The elite. Oh, the Igbo man, I mean, the average voter in Nigeria wants to have a change. They want to see who is bold enough to take the truth to the power. Who are not tasted power at that level. Peter has never been a minister. He has never been close to Asorok, apart from being advisor here and there. He was advisor to Jonathan on economy and all that. So the average voter is influenced by the elite. And the elite seem to know the difference. The opinion leaders. The man in my village, the woman in my village who go to vote, will wait for me sometimes to come and tell her what to do. Or wait for those who will bring 2,000, 3,000 a night before the election. So the voter, yes, they have a role to play, but it depends on the elite.
Yes. Okay, if I summarize what you just said, it would appear that the Nigerian voter is helpless.
To some extent.
Because most times they are manipulated by the opinion of the influencers or the elite, or sometimes as small as 1,000 naira, a half cup of gari, half cup of rice, beans, salt, and things like that. Well, you made enough point for those watching you to believe that P2B is sincere. I'm going to take you to another statement made by a distinguished Igbo man, a former governor, a former senator, or currently Minister of Works, His Excellency Senator Dave Omeh. On Monday, he issued a statement in Abuja saying that no Igbo man will win an election in 2027. He was emphatic, he was categorical. He went for it to say, let nobody, let no darkening counsel, don't come and tell the people that it is possible. He says it is not possible, that we should wait. That the only thing we should do is to support the president, who according to him is already doing a very, very wonderful job. And he reeled out a lot of things he said he's doing. That's what I'm going to recount here. But David Umahia was emphatic and said that the only thing the Igbo man should do is to support the president and wait on our turn when others could support us to do what? That if we help in trying to truncate that Tinubu is enjoying, those people will also have to truncate our own when we want to. So that the only reasonable thing for the Igbo man to do is not to contest the 2027 elections, at least at the level of presidency. Omeh, I know you as a forthright man. please talk to our viewers.
David Umahia has a right to his own opinions. Unfortunately, we have a very large parastatal Bureau of Statistics. How I wish the minister was speaking based on statistics, even with the last election, when they said P2B is a playboy, is a social media, whatever, with running an election without with a party without structure. I also wish that Umahia believes in the release they attributed to El-Rufai. I don't know whether that is true or not, but it's also viral. That viral video or numbers released claims that P2B won in 19 states. There are other information, direct, indirect, that continue to claim that P2B won that election in 2023. His running mate nearly gave out something during his last channel interview where he was saying what happened between Maitama and he stopped himself. So I don't agree with all due respect with him. I don't also agree that there's a turn left for the Igbo man, especially for Southeast Sana, when this is the third time the presidency is coming down to South. 1999 to 2007, Southwest. 2000 is it 9 or 7? No, 9 to 2015, South. Every right-thinking Southerner, every fair-minded politician in Nigeria would have thought that this third time would have come to Southeast. I don't know where it was written. When it will be Southeasterners' turn. And this is what caused the problem in PDP, if you can remember. When Atiku decided to run and gave a reason, if it is for Southeast, I will step down. So if PDP could not do it, in spite of that support, they didn't allow the Igbo man. And the APC, remember later, Governor Bonion, His Excellency Bonion, who cried at the APC convention of, incidentally, that Umahia wanted to be the president 2023. He was among those who stepped down for Buhari. I mean for Tinubu. So he was trying to deceive us that time by buying the ticket to run for presidency. So I beg to disagree with him. There is no turn. And Power is not given. So the North, the West, the South side, they will all sit down and say, this is the turn of Southeast. When it is not even in the Constitution, rotation is not there yet. What we have is oscillation. So I disagree with him, and 99% of Igbo voters and politicians will disagree with him.
Okay, we need to look for the statistics of this year, 99 point whatever percent.
He also didn't use statistics
to make it empirical.
Okay.
That this other thing that is happening, and you see like around P2B, and that is I watched Jerry Ghana on the national television. Typical of Jerry Ghana, he was at his best element. You know, he has the gift of the gab. But one thing I took away from his entire interview was that P2B is an asset to any political party. And therefore, he said they're making a frantic effort to bring P2B to the PDP. Well, many people are already worried. Because when P2B left, as economical he is with certain words, he was not very kind to PDP when he left. And I don't know in Igbo land whether somebody can swallow his phlegm. It's only Nigerian politicians who can swallow their phlegm. That's one. Two, he says he's a member of Labour Party, but he's been romancing ADC, what they call political gerrymandering. Now, I've just tied two things: Labour, ADC, PDP. But he speaks so well of P2B. Where is he? I do think he should, if given the opportunity, go back to PDP.
We know Jerry Ghana. Mamsa.
Yes.
If you want to govern well.
If you want to chair well.
Chair well.
If you want to lead well.
Yes. It's giving to give to the God, as you said. People are already inputting a lot of things in that speech because they also said they had a better candidate.
Okay, I had him say that.
So he's neither here nor there. So I think, and people are putting two and two together that maybe they are talking to President Jonathan. It's just people flying kites.
Yes.
P2B, all parties, maybe for APC will want P2B to come around in their platform. Remember before we started this program, we discussed.
Yes.
When somebody said, your next program, I don't want to give it out.
Okay, yeah.
The title of your next program. PDP was a good party, the most fortunate and lucky party in this country. We all know what happened. Arrogance, impunity,
lack of internal democracy.
And
go on and on.
A lot of things. But you can't take it from them that that's a stronghold. It's all that leadership that is the problem of almost all political organizations in Nigeria, including governments. Well, I don't know. They have baggages. And there's nothing is cast on stone. Especially, as you said it, in Nigerian politics. Nothing is cast on stone. I don't know how the Nigerian will look at him going back to PDP, unless people are interpreting some movements as a very bad eggs leaving PDP. People are also watching what their convention will be like. Whether it will be a convention where one person with a naira, dollar, and pound sterling picks who is the chairman, who is the secretary, and all that. That will have a lot to do with PDP. If PDP get their what do you call it?
Acts
together and show leadership. And if we also agree that they are not the masters and can join the coalition, because according to listening to the leaders of coalition saying 27 election will not be between APC and PDP, Labour, or even ADC. It is against Nigerians. That it is APC against the people. If people buy into that kite they are flying, and PDP decides not to be the master they think they are, more than once, wherever P2B is and continues what he's doing, people will follow him. That's my permutation.
Okay, people will follow him wherever he goes. Yes, some people will also not follow him. That is politics for you.
Yes.
What is important is what happens at the end of the day. You know, politics is something that's dynamic, and you don't decide who won by the number of votes you have. You decide who has won by Anioke's declaration.
another kettle of fish.
So another kettle of fish. As we have tried to bring this conversation to a close, I want to actually maybe ask you, beyond the people we have mentioned, countries where you had Nelson Mandela, who after 4 years, after a tenure said he wasn't going to do again, he was emphatic that South Africa is not Nigeria. And given our people's belief of denial, let's be a little bit, what I say, let's listen to our people first. I want you to take this. The average Igbo man I've spoken to said, look, others have served 8 years. Why are we even beginning to think that we will not do it at the beginning? That means already we sold out. So that's the same people they are talking about, and the people who follow. People said any person, any woman who will not aspire for 8 years should not be there. What will you advise this set of Igbo who says if you're not planning to be 8 years, don't even talk to us? And they're emphatic about it.
I'm happy you have separated it. You know, you said first Igbo people, but now you said those set of people.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with you. Those set of people. I have said it before. I wish to repeat myself. Peter is on a dual mission. There is a jinx we must break. The jinx of the result of the collective conspiracy against the Igbo man in Nigeria. Let him be the sacrificial lamb to bring that jinx. Let him be the person who reintegrate us into the national polity as equals, not what other parties have been doing with us. Use us to fill up the gap. So I'm appealing to them still. I mentioned it earlier. Others were achieving much within 4 years. And let us not be seen as rebellious, as we have always been tagged. There is an oscillation that peacefully have been moving on. South, north, south, north. I'm sure Peter thinks and believes that should be continued by serving 4 years to complete the southern 8 years. So that we won't have an argument to make when it comes down to south again. And we serve for only 4 years. Because if you say, go and wait, you wait till 2027 to 2031, to 30, 35. You and I. I don't know. All these people
will be close to 90 years like that.
all these people who are
There's possibility that other people would have actually grown.
grown by having confidence that it is possible.
Yes.
If by that time, no Igbo man will believe that it is possible for the Igbo man to rule this country.
Well, change is one thing that's constant.
Let's look at that jinx that is wanting to break.
Okay, you are hoping that P2B is the one that could break the jinx.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this as we are trying to round up. Should Nigerians focus actually on term length, or should they focus on competence and capacity?
This is a very complex question, because history has also shown that a lot of some countries who jumped away from poverty to opulence had a benevolent dictator.
Yeah. Link by you.
Yes.
Even the man in Rwanda.
They always wanted to introduce it in Ghana. So it is neither here nor there. But then, Nigeria is very, very complex. And that is why the white man and our political leaders, pioneers, felt we needed federation, where we are almost independent. That didn't work. So for now, we have to be tenured, especially where competent people can come from anywhere. There are no tribe in Nigeria that has a monopoly of producing good people or development-oriented leaders. What we are saying, there is Peter Obi is in the middle between the younger generation and the older generation. He's also in the middle, not 100% politician, but he's in politics. So he has something to bring to the table. That's the difference to make. So let's try him. Let's support him.
Let's try him. Let's support him. Now address the Igbo and then Nigerians. Igbo in particular, then Nigerians. You're an elder. Unless those who are watching who may not know your history, they will not know that you are an elder and you are one man who stands for the truth all your life. Now talk to Igbo, talk to Nigerians as we approach 2027.
I agree with you to a very large extent. I have seen it all. I was an agent of late Honorable Emmanuel Alachi Omeh, who ran for House of Assembly in NPN. That was my first year in the university. And I was part of it. He was grooming me until His Excellency is your no one. We were jubilating. I even relocated my national service from Bendel to old Anambra State because I felt I was part of the government. Incidentally, I was to report on 2nd January.
And the key happened 2 days before. And the key 31st December.
So, I've seen it all. I was there. The student activists without money, but more or less fighting for the downtrodden people. We thought that our part of the state was really downtrodden. But for Nnamdi Azikiwe, who started the university in our area, we are fighting. We fought as students, fought the location of teaching hospital from Ozara and Nsukka to Ozara. was in Kano. For the gerrymandering, there was a time the Nsukka zone should belong to Onitsha Central Zone. It had been fight until I was lucky to be in NRC as a part-time politician because I was in libraries. I was marketing manager of libraries, but we were combining to going home to support Uncle John Wood, the until 2 weeks before the election. Look what happened. He was disqualified and he pulled his gown and put on Ukri after a lot of argument who should be anti-grace and all that, because Nia was disqualified as a former politician. So I became a commissioner. Then Abacha struck and we all left. Then I was part of UNDP. Was it UNDP? That popular party that Abacha wanted to. But Abacha wanted to fly all the flags. The fires. The time that Brother Bazuago was almost a governor.
Okay. UNCP.
I was to be the chairman of that party overnight. So I've seen it all. Yes, I have to advise my Igbo brothers. Anybody who is thinking that we shouldn't accept 4 years if given to us should change his mind. Can I banye kodu? I banye so that can support the yoke. Then, to those who think it is not possible, especially at high places, there are other ways they can project and serve their masters without really condemning the Igbo man to not contest an election because no Igbo man can win election. What a statement. What a statement. If somebody from South Bayelsa, almost one of the smallest states in the country, could win an election, why does people think that Igbo man that finds himself to be to have the highest population, the second highest population in any city in this country, apart from indigenous people, the Igbo man is already second. Why does he think that we can't win election? Why back can I break? Then to the whole country, I'm appealing. And I trust P2B have done it first, can do it again. All attest that he did it in Anambra. And the signs are there. The records are there. And has promised to do it in this country. And he can do it. I don't know whether INEC could be appealed to or the judiciary could be appealed to.
I appeal to anybody who wants to appeal to.
Because INEC, they do neither more harm than good. For instance, look at the pronouncement by the Supreme Judge about Labour Party leadership. The judiciary hung it, no definite statement, even though we can derive what they have in mind. INEC playing the ostrich. But thank God, they took a decision now that we have to show the leader, Chief Abure, that he's just playing the spoiler's game. Look at Natasha's judgment. Senate, you have no right to suspend him, suspend her, but pay fine because you disobeyed the court.
No, that's exactly what the court said. The court says they would not interfere in the affairs. But if she's going to spend 180 days, that's almost half of her tenure.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So, but for the one that judiciary had pronounced right, sometimes I quarrel with Nigerians about the issue of judiciary.
Okay.
When you favor C, say they are right. And when they don't favor the next person, say it's wrong.
One of these ones is favoring me or not favoring me. I'm giving an example.
Yes, I know.
I don't know Natasha.
Maybe you run an election, you have someone who has run for an election, and the says he is correct.
You know that.
Nigerians.
You know I run elections, but that's not the issue for discussion today.
Okay.
So, I'm not the only person saying it. If you are quarreling with Nigerians, it means Nigerians are complaining. Maybe you don't see it. You are not on the same page with them. Let them improve on whatever they are doing, both INEC and judiciary.
Okay.
So that whoever wins an election, will not be subjected to which only genuine election, genuine votes, then technical filing in time and all that. Brother Uche, we leave it for another time.
Okay, let's leave it for another time. And
before we close finally,
okay, yes.
Let me thank you. Let me thank Ilo, Miss Ilo. Let me thank my brother, Ikemokuhu. People are now going into area that people erroneously thought belong to the West. Even though it doesn't belong to them, but because of maybe the economy, Lagos in particular, and all that, they find it easier to get job in media houses, both electronic and paper. So when they going to talk about the West, it seems as if the Igbo man is not there at the press. The people are moving in, and you have all our blessing, so that we shall also be given a place in the media space. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we're speaking with Chief Matthias Omeh, Ph.D. He made his mind on the one-term presidency that P2B has so promised Nigerians that if given the opportunity, he will serve for a 4-year term, and that he will use the 4-year term to change a lot of things about Nigeria. But it's not how long you live, it is how well. And on that note, see you tomorrow, same time, same station. Thank you.